Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. And today on the channel I'm going to be talking about the brand new horror thriller film called The Invitation. This film just came out in theaters this week, and I'm going to give you guys my quick thoughts coming up. But before I get into my review, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, comment below your thoughts on this film, and also turn the notification bell so you never miss any review that I make and I upload weekly. And now without further ado, let's get into my thoughts on this brand new film. Directed by Jessica Thompson, The Invitation is about a young woman who is courted and swept off her feet only to realize a gothic conspiracy is afoot. The film stars Natalie Emmanuel, Thomas Dougherty, Stephanie Corneliuson, Alana Bowden, Hugh Skinner, and many more. So my initial thoughts of going into The Invitation, I actually forgot about this trailer. I've seen so many horror trailers lately, so I forgot the actual premise of this film actually was. I do have to say that if you do not know nothing about this film, if you can avoid going to watch the trailer, I would do so, because after I watched this film, I went ahead and refreshed myself on the actual trailer, and the trailer gives away a lot about this film, and because it gives away a lot about this film, I think that it wouldn't be as effective if you knew everything that was actually in the trailer, because there probably won't be too many surprises for you going into this film. I really like how the film starts off. It starts off really dark. It's got that mood going. It's got all the different lighting. It starts off in this really creepy mansion. There's thunder, there's lightning, there's everything that you would really like a horror film to really start off of. And after it goes through that scene, we go to New York City and we meet Evie. We learn that Evie, her mother, has passed away from cancer. She's an orphan, so she doesn't have any other family. So she works in this catering business with her friend named Grace, and they end up stealing these bags and they end up doing these DNA tests, and Evie finds out who her other family relatives are, and she ends up meeting this guy named Oliver. She ends up meeting him at a restaurant, and she finds out more about her family, and he ends up offering her a trip to go to England to go to this wedding so she can meet all the different relatives. And of course, she's really kind of against this. She's poor and she can't afford it, but Oliver agrees to pay for her way. So then she goes to England to really explore what her family members are like. I think Evie's character is the best character about this film. She is the most fleshed out. It's very easy to latch onto her character and really feel sorry for her, because she's the orphan here and she's just trying to really fit in with other people. Now, it's really hard for her to fit in, because when she goes to this mansion, there's all these different rich people, and she ends up meeting this boy named Walter. And Walter, he's really charming. Obviously, he's a rich kind of guy. You know he's up to no good, but I think he played a really decent role for what the role that he had called upon in this film. I also like Lucy and Victoria. Lucy is another woman that really takes a fascination with Evie in this. She really wants to get to know her. And then you have Victoria. Now, Victoria is very jealous of Evie because Evie is having this romance with Walter. It's a gothic romance, and it's really kind of a deeper connection, and Victoria gets really jealous of that. The cinematography and the camera work on this is done really well. There was some slight resemblance to Crimson Peak, just slight little things that I noticed. I did like a lot of the different camera angles they did throughout the hallways inside the house, different shots outside the house. There's some drone shots as well, but not overdone of drone shots, just a few little shots here and there. But I did like when they had these different colors involved in the house and all these different angles that they used. I thought that they did a really good job of really setting the tone for this different camera work and the different cinematography outside the house as well as inside the house. It really keeps the film really interesting, and just the different shots that they have throughout this film, at least it makes the film feel a little bit unique. I do have to complain about the lighting though in some parts. Now, when we get our first kill in this movie, it's really dark and the audience can't see nothing. It's so dark, we don't even know who or what or even how these people that do end up getting killed, how they get killed. We can't see it on screen really at all. I also felt that Evie and Walter's romance, it was a little bit unorthodox. I didn't really feel that they really had a lot of chemistry. Evie, she's really outspoken in this, and Walter, he's this charming guy. And I really never really bought their romance. It just seems like a really awkward romance. If you haven't watched the trailer, and I'm treating this as you guys have not watched the trailer, but there is an actual reveal in this film, and a lot of people have said it online and in their reviews what this reveal actually is, but I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm going to act like you guys haven't watched the trailer. But when this reveal is actually revealed, it's revealed in Evie's eyes, right before her eyes rather. And when this reveal happens, it feels very generic. It doesn't feel like they really do a lot with that reveal, and it was very disappointing because when we get that actual kill that we can actually see on screen, it's 70 minutes into the film. Keeping in mind that this film is a PG-13 film, there's not a lot of gore, there's not a lot of blood, but I was thinking to myself, if I was 13, 14 years old and I was watching this movie, I probably would have been bored because a lot of this film, there isn't any really scary parts. There's about 2 or 3 jump scares where they'll remind us and go, oh yeah, this is a horror film. But a lot of this film, especially between the 60 and 70 minute mark, a lot of it is this gothic romance between Walter and Evie with a jump scare here and there where they remind us that it is a horror film. But I was just thinking, even though I'm older and I can, really get into a slower burn film, this film didn't really do a whole lot. I felt that it had some problems really trying to mix the tones in here with this gothic romance and then having this horror aspect as well. But it doesn't really feel a lot like a horror film. Really, the whole reveal, it doesn't really do a whole lot to really elevate the film. It just feels very bland, and it feels like it really just doesn't really know where to go with the story after we get into this whole romance for over an hour. My last negative about this film is the ending. It's very generic. You've seen it before. It's nothing really groundbreaking, but they add another scene along with this ending, and I was thinking to myself, we really don't need to add this scene onto the ending. How it ended was just fine, even though it's something that we've seen before. So I don't really feel like that they did that. But I'm gonna give a score of this film a 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, the camera work's done pretty well. There's some pretty good cinematography. You have a pretty good main actress in this. But other than that, there's really nothing too special about this film. It's not really scary. There's not really a big reveal. There's not really any blood. And it has a lot of gothic romance throughout the first 60-70 minutes of the film. And the film is about an hour and 40 minutes. So if you're down with having a really slow gothic kind of romance filled in with a little bit of horror, which really isn't that much, you may like this film. But thank you guys for watching this review, and I'll see you guys on my next one.